سلام رفقا، خیلی خوش اومدید به چنل من دایالی هستم و قرار بود که با هم دیگه سیزن جدید توی استریم ببینیم که خب حالا تایمینگ که من فکر کردم که استریم میکنن و معرفی میکنن یکم این ورین بر شد و اشتباه شد. کلا قرار بود ساعت 10 شب باشه ولی خب مثلا که 9 شب زودتر ران کردم و معرفی کردم، همه چی تموم شد رفت. در نتیجه ما هم الان ویدیوشو میگیریم و بریم ببینیم که توی سیزن جدید به نام دیدلی اومن چه اتفاقی قرار بیفته و اپراتور دیموس چه اپراتوری هست. اول یه سی جی آی ببینیم از خود دیموس که ببینیم که این اپراتور چی هست، بعد میریم سراغ معرفی کامل سیزن و نظراتمو بهتون میگم ببینیم که چی هستش. لیتس گو. یادتون نره که کانال من رو سابسکرایب بکنید و من رو معرفی بکنید، حتما لایک کنید و کامنت بذارید. شبکه‌هاش من رو دنبال کنید دیگه، تلگرام و اینستاگرام با دایالی، یعنی با آیدی دایالی تیوی میتونید دنبال کنید. لیتس گو. خب تریلر اول ببینیم، تریلر سی جی آی کاراکتر.
There's no hiding. Not for you. Not for me. Try not to disappoint me, soldier.
پشمام، یعنی یه درونه که مثلا میره اتوماتیک خودش انمیا رو پیدا میکنه، مارک میکنه. خب بریم معرفی سیزن رو ببینیم. خب معرفی سیزن جدید رو ببینیم که چی داره برای ما.
Hello everyone and welcome to Operation Deadly Omen.
بذار زیرنویس تمام کنم. خب برو بریم. ای بابا برو.
I'm Camille Salazar-Hattaway, here to give you all the details on the first season of Year 9 of Rainbow Six
پس در مورد سال اوله.
We've got some big updates to shake up the meta,
سیزن
a
اوله.
sinister new operator, and maybe even a special guest at the end? Let's not jinx it. To get us started, please welcome Creative Director Alexander Karpazes.
الکساندر کارپازز قراره برامون بیاد سیزن جدید رو بررسی کنه، ببینیم که چی آورده برامون.
Year 9 Season 1 starts with a bang, and it's all about Operation Deadly Omen. You'll see huge meta shifts this season, where we're bringing the new shield.
وای ریورد شیلد. وای ببین منو قراره با مانتی پاره کنه، فقط ببین چه تغییراتی داره.
Changes to the attachment system and much more. The locker system is being introduced. A new
لاکر سیستم چیه؟ وپن اسکین. اینجا کلا چارما و با چیز کلا جدا میتونی نگاه کنیم. خوبه کلا چیز عوض شده، یعنی قسمت اپراتورها تبدیل شده به قسمت لاکرز که همه میتونن جدا اسکیناشون رو ببینن.
new way to manage your inventory. The next operator joining our ranks is Damos. Now that he's captured by Team Rainbow, he won't be joining them, but he will be playable. We can't wait for you to see more about him. On top of all of this, we're adding something special to the ranked rewards this season. A super rare headgear for those of you who can climb the ladder and show it off.
پس این میشه یه جورایی چی میگن ریوارد رنک سیزن. مثلا شما قبلا چیز میگرفتین دیگه، یه سری پک میگرفتین به خاطر رنکتون و چیز میگرفتین، یه چارم میگرفتین. الان رنک اپ کنین یه هدیه خیلی خفن ترمایت هم میگیرین. نایس.
Our next topic is a big one. After proving its mettle on the test server, the revamped shield mechanic is ready for prime time. Game director Joshua Mills is here to present this huge change and talk about the new tactical possibilities of shields.
So right off the bat, I'd love to take the opportunity to again thank our community for checking out our lab test server. So why are we changing the shields? The current state of the shields has something that I saw a comment for this and I thought it was perfect.
اینو راست میگه. مثلا می‌خواستی وارد در بشی، من خودم شیلد پلیرم دیگه، به من شیلد پلیر وقتی می‌خواستی وارد بشی نگاه کردن به چپ و راست خیلی چالشی بود. مثلا اگه می‌خواستی چپ و نگاه کنی حتما باید حواست میشد که از راست تیر نخوری، یا از مثلا ممکن بود یه جوری نشون بده که پات میزنه بیرون. خلاصا خیلی دردسر بود. اینجوری خیلی بهتره.
It was headshot lottery. That's kind of what the hipfire sequence is, where it's just a random headshot can catch you and does not feel good regardless of what side of the shield you're on. With this package, one of the big things was to make sure that every action a shield operator can have follows a very simple principle. Be defensive. Be defensive 90% of the time. If you want to be offensive, then you got to give something for that. This is the idea.
میگه 90% گیم پلی شیلدا میشه دیفنسیو. خب یعنی شما فقط دارید دفاع میکنید خب و آسیبی نمیبینید. و اگر میخواید که مثلا هجومی بازی کنید که گیم پلی که من بازی میکنم با شیلد، باید این چیزی رو یعنی نمیتونید که همینجوری پشت شیلد بشینید تیر بزنید، باید این چیزی رو فدا کنید.
That reloading behind the shield is now safe. But if you want to go for the kill and you want to use your weapon, you have to open yourself up. You have to become vulnerable. Obviously, it's reinforcing the fantasy of being the tank of your team. We want you to be able to be in that front line. We want you to be able to carve away the territory. And ultimately, we want you to feel powerful. Right now, we're focusing on the ballistic shields. So this is Fuse, Blitz, Montaigne when the shield is not extended. There's a bunch of new things that you can do. One, you can break through full health barricades.
درجا میتونی بپری داخل بریکید چیز، بریکید بسته.
You have a melee pushback, and it does damage. You can reload behind your shield. Additionally, you can activate triggerable gadgets from behind the shield.
از پشت شیلد میتونیم چیز کنیم، گجت ها رو اکتیو کنیم.
As well as deploy your throwables. You will actually move the shield just a little.
نایس، میتونیم چیز کنیم، یعنی از پشت همه اگه گجت ها میتونن پشت شیلد
to make sure that arm gets out there. Now that said, your head will always be protected. The free look. This is actually what's replacing the hipfire. This means that as Monty, for example, you can approach a doorway and you can look to the left, look to the right.
سیزن جدید فقط ببینید من چی کار کنم با این کامیونیتی.
Check if there's traps, but more importantly, if you're working as a team, you can hold your position while you feed that intel to them. As we can see, attackers and ballistic shields are getting a lot of functionality. They're able to sprint, better rotations throughout the map. Nice. But that said, a defender can light up that shield. This will actually stop a shield operator from sprinting. This is one of the key things you can do to start coordinating with your team or setting up for the flanks. With the new addition of the defensive melee, this allows our shield operators to get up close and personal. Something, generally speaking, you don't want to happen. But if it does, you're not out of options. It's important to recognize that whenever you do get hit by a knockback, you have a window of opportunity in which you can light up that shield user. Maybe shoot them in the legs, do something in that reaction, but again, not a position you want to find yourself in. So it's best to use the suppressor fire to keep them.
چقدر HP خورد واسه ببینم.
But again, not a
40 تا HP داشت با یک دونه ضربه 35 تا HP خورد.
Position you want to find yourself in. So it's best to use the suppressor fire to keep them at a distance and work with your team. So this is the foundation of our shields going forward. It sets us up for the opportunity to revisit different parts of our shields, including our extended shields. We'll have a little bit more to talk about later this year.
While the Siege team can
اولین موضوع وین بدن، یه لایک میدم. اولین موضوع رو حال کردم. شما رو میخوام که نظراتتون رو بنویسید، با یکی با موضوعی گفت همزمان با من نظرتون رو بنویسید. اولی حال کردم.
Continuously works to improve player protection. The launch of a new season is a great time to introduce impactful new measures. Updates targeting ranked mode and anti-cheat are on the way. And here to tell you more are associate producer Killian Callow and player protection and game security director Emmanuel Larive.
With Deadly Omen, we're introducing new restrictions to play rank. Rank is our most competitive playlist, the place where you compete against other players based on your performance and skill level. The restrictions target two different groups, returning and new players. Siege is a constantly evolving game. The meta changes, there's new operators, new maps, balancing updates, or even gameplay addiction. We know it's not a good experience to be with someone in a team who is not aware of addiction. We know it's not a good experience to be with someone in a team who is not aware of the latest game updates. From now on, we will consider a player as inactive when that player hasn't played any regular PvP match for an entire season. When coming back, the inactive player will need to rediscover the game by winning 5 quick match or standard matches to unlock access to ranked. The other restriction is regarding new players. A new player is any player who hasn't played ranked before the release of Deadly Omen. From now on, besides the clearance level 50 requirement to play ranked, the new players will need to have in their collection
باید از این به بعد خب باید کسایی که پلیر جدید هستن 50 لول باشن آنلاک 10 تا اتکر و 10 تا دیفندر رو کنن. ایول حالا چیت را بیشتر زور بزنید که بیاین تو رنگ.
At least 10 attacking and 10 defending operators. The focus of the new restrictions is to preserve the competitive integrity of ranked while enhancing
اینجوری کونشون پاره میشه دیگه ارزش نداره که هی همینجوری چیز کنن.
the experience for all players.
Update ban on data, update ban on data.
Ban on data is an amazing system. The goal of it is to better detect and act on cheat.
این موضوع بهش میگم من واقعا میگم گوه نخور. خب داره گوه اضافی میخوره. پدرمون در اومد چقدر من ویدیو چیت گذاشتم تو کانال من. الان این داره میگه که الان ما داریم به دستاوردهای زیاد میریم.
That are ruining the game experience of everybody. Right now, we are moving from an old model to a new model that will be based on machine learning. This is a key update for our anti-cheat strategy. We will have conservative threshold to make sure that we are not impacting fair and regular players. We only want to catch cheater and the people that are ruining your game experience.
میبینید سبز نشون میده اکثرا با این رو قرمز نشون میده سومی رو باید سبز نشون میده همه رو داره سبز نشون میده بعد سومی رو قرمز نشون میده داش همه چیتره
wants to clean matches in a proactive way. Our long-term strategy toward cheating and ban on data will be exposed on the year 9 overview.
میگه که توی سال نهم یعنی فردا که من ویدیوشو براتون میذارم میگه تو سال نهم ویدیو چیزی یعنی توضیحات کامل داره راجع به بنان دیتا رو میگه. بنان دیتا مثلا بر اساس اینه که بر اساس هدشات ریت تا الان اینجوری نبوده خب یعنی از این قضیه قرار اینجوری باشه بر اساس هدشات ریت بر اساس کیلایی که داره بر اساس کیدی که داره بر اساس کلا دیتایی که از یک پلیر و اکانتش و گیم پلیش نمایش داده میشه روی دیتابیس رینبو سیکس یعنی ای آی تصمیم میگیره که بنش یا دستی حال نمیدونه بر اساس دیتا تا الان با دیتا نبوده. مثلا این بنای رینبو سیکس اینجوری بوده که مثلا یه چیتو شناسایی میکردن خب مثلا چیت چه میدونم مثلا فونیکس بعد کسایی که از چیت فونیکس استفاده کردن همه رو با هم بند میکردن. خب اینجوری نبوده که بخوان مثلا کسی که چیتر رو بند کنن چیتو شناسایی میکردن چیترایی که با اون چیت استفاده میکردن رو بند میکردن.
Player protection toward anti-cheat or player behavior are top priority for the project on Siege.
گوه نخور.
In addition to accumulating razor-sharp skills and finely tuned instincts, Siege players have a tendency to collect stylish looks. So we've got a new inventory system.
خب الان کن سیزن اوورویو که چی در مورد شیلد من لایک دادم در مورد پلیر پروتکشنشو چون همش زرزر گو خوردنه و خب خبرهای خوبی هم میدن من زیاد منفی نشون نمیدم فقط خونسام در مورد دوم. بریم سراغ مورد سوم. اینونتوری جدید.
UX designer Nicholas Joshua Klein is here from Ubisoft Berlin to introduce the Locker.
We're excited to announce a new addition coming to Rainbow Six Siege, the Locker. The Locker adds a comprehensive way of browsing your entire collection of
این لاکر درسته پک منیجر کلا همه چی میاد اینجا دیگه نمیدونم گجت ها و فیورت ها و اپریانس ها و اپریشن شوکیس کلا همه چی میاد اینجا.
Cosmetics. Players will be able to find their items in different categories such as appearance for headgear and uniforms or weapons for weapon skins, attachment skins and charms. Categories hold all items of that type for all operators and can be sorted by different criteria, such as operator, name, or rarity. Players will also be able to manage their items in more in-depth ways, such as browsing the latest item category, as well as marking items as favorites. Once an item is marked as a favorite, you'll be able to find it in the Locker's own favorites category, as well as on top of your item lists when customizing your operators over in the operators tab.
اونایی که میگفتن در مورد راجع به اکانت و آیتمات ویدیو بساز اینجوری دیگه راحت میشه ساخت.
The latest item category lets you find any item you may have received recently, no matter where it came from. Shop, pack, battle pass, it's all in there. Players will also be able to access the pack manager from the Locker, right as the first option on the screen. In the following seasons, players can expect more updates coming to the Locker. As always, we will continue to listen to your feedback.
In Operation Deadly Omen, you'll want to take a fresh look at your loadouts as big changes are coming to attachments, including the return of a
اتچمنت ADS آپگرید. در مورد لاکر من مثبت نشون میدم. پس 3 تا تغییری که تا حالا معرفی شده من 2 تاشو موافق بودم، 1 تاشم خنثی. بریم سومی، بریم چهارمی.
Which combo, you ask? To tell you about that, we'll need game designer Matthew Lacombe.
بریم چیکار میکنن؟ اتچمنت ADS چیه؟
With Deadly Omen, we're going to upgrade the ADS and the attachment system. We're going to bring this awesome gunplay and gun feel that we have in Siege, and we're going to make it even better. So for the ADS, we're slowing down the time it takes for you to come from the IP to the fully ADS state. This means that if you have a plan, you're in control of an angle, you're going to get rewarded here. These changes also allow us to have more creativity and more control on what kind of bonus we can give to our attachments. Currently in the game, we have the Universal 1X, the 1.
خب پس یونیورسالا یعنی این اتچمنت رو همه هستن. نو اتچمنت و رد داتا و هولوگرام و رفلکس و همین دیگه. بعد 1.5
5, the 2.0, 2.5 and 3.0.
الان اینا رو داریم درسته؟ اینا حذف نشدن یعنی
In Deadly Omen, we're reshuffling them into 4 categories. We're going
آها تا الان اینجوری بوده تو ددلی اومن عوض میشه. خب آیرون سایت میشه یه بخش، بعد میشه یونیورسال 1 که همه توش هست.
to have the Iron Sights, the Universal 1X, the Magnified Scope and the
مگنیفای اسکوپ میشه
Telescopic Scope.
تلسکوپیک میشه دورتر میشه دید. اوکی.
These 4 new categories allows us to give them different bonuses. Iron Sights will have 10% ADS speed.
اگه آیرون سایت بندازی 10% سرعت ADS اسپید بالا میره.
Universal 1X will have
اگر یونیورسال 1 اسپید بندازی، خب یونیورسال یعنی کلا یونیورسال رو میندازی، مثلا همون ضرب در یک کارو همون هولوگرام و درد تو این داستانا 5% زیاد میکنه سرعت رو.
5% ADS speed. Magnified Scope will have no bonus on the ADS.
اوکی اگر اون 2.5 رو بندازی، یعنی ایکاگ بندازی با اون ADS روسیه رو بندازی با 1.5، هیچ تغییری توی ADS دادن یعنی سرعت ADS داده نمیشه.
But will in turn provide you with a 2.5 zoom level.
اوکی اگه با 2.5 چیز کنی
The Telescopic Scope will have also no bonus on the ADS.
اونم اگه با تلسکوپ هم نگاه کنی، یعنی با 3x هم بخوای چیز کنی، با 3x هم بخوای بازی کنی چیز نداره.
But it will have a 3.5 zoom level. We are removing the 1.5. We're going to keep the casing, the object, and we're going to put it in the magnified scope section. As we're changing the optic section, we have to redistribute them.
یعنی شما رو یعنی اینا رو میتونید رو همه استفاده کنیم یا نه؟ یعنی اینو نمیدونم هنوز میشه روی همه اپراتور استفاده یا نه. الان اینی که داره استفاده میکنه این چیز دیگه 1.5 داره روش رمه.
This means that our defenders will have limited access to the magnified scope, no telescopic scope there. But on the attacker side, we'll have access to magnified and telescopic scope on mostly all of our operators.
توی دیفند میگه که نمیتونین، یعنی توی هیچ دسترسی به مگنیفای اسکوپ چیز میگه مگنیفای به تلسکوپ اسکوپ ندارن دسترسی، یعنی سه اسکوپ ندارن، ولی تو اتکر اکثرا دارن. ولی خب دیگه مثلا چیه با توجه به گیم پلی که دارن اون یعنی سرعت ADS بالا پایین میشه یا هر چی دوست داری.
That means Ash, that means the R4C, so if you were there back then, we're back. So the laser, it's such a tactical object, it's this awesome attachment.
دیدی چی شد اینجا رو نگاه کن.
We're back.
کسل خب کسل با اسکوپ ایکاگ یعنی
So the laser, it's such a tactical object, it's this awesome attachment, but we don't do it justice, right? We're going to change the hipfire bonus into an ADS speed bonus. A 15% bonus, this is huge.
اگه لیزر بندازید سرعت ADS تون 15% افزایش پیدا میکنه. بابا بنازم الان دیگه. خب ببین من الان ملت هیچ چیزی نمیندازن، هیچ ADS هیچ ایمی نمیندازن و با لیزر راش میدن، سرعت 15% اینجا افزایش پیدا میکنه، 20% هم اونجا افزایش پیدا میکنه. 20% بود 20% بود 35% سرعت ADS میره بالا اصلا اوف.
But you'll have to be careful on where you're aiming. So now that we have two categories that affect the time it takes to go in ADS, well, the angle grip is a bit redundant in this current form. What we're going to bring in Deadly Omen is a 20%
20% هم گریپ انگل گریپ اضافه میکنه. خب الان
reload speed bonus. So if you've been keeping up with Siege, well, last year we changed the reload. This is such an important new change for you now. If you thought that reload speed was very spicy for attachment, well, we have the horizontal grip, a new attachment that will be
جدید horizon grip
available for our primary weapons. This one will provide movement speed bonus. So if you want to zoom around, that's the one. The vertical grip will remain the one attachment that you want if you want to manage vertical recoil, but we're making it 15% instead of 20% bonus. As you can see in Deadly Omen, there's tons of changes to the attachment system. I suggest that you go in the shooting range, you try all of those new options around because you have to try them out.
We're just a few updates away from the full reveal of the new operator, Damos. But first, here's
4 تا تغییر دادن، 3 تاش لایک، یه دونه خونسا.
creative director Alexander Karpazes with more on what's coming this season.
A big feature for player comfort that's coming this season is pre-visualization of projectiles. These are all the gadgets that
Shit. حاجی این خیلی خوبه، این خیلی خوبه، ولی میدونید چیه؟ ولی رینبو رو مثلا آرکید تر میکنه. خب چجوری من موافقم با این تغییر، ولی در کل بر مزاج پلیرهای قدیمی اصلا خوش نمیاد، چون اسکیل محور دیگه نیست. هر کسی میتونه مثلا هر جور دوست داره فلش کنه یا مثلا هر جور دوست داره نید بندازه از هر فاصله ای. خوبه، تغییر خوبه، من راضیم، ولی خب میگم به مزاج خیلی خوش نمیاد. من راضیم، میگم لایک.
that are throwable. When you're quickly aiming, you'll have a pre-vis trail, and when you stop and pause for a bit, you'll have a completed arc. For experienced players, this is not about lowering the skill ceiling. Instead, this is giving you the confidence to set up sights quickly and not to have that moment that we've all had, where you throw a C4, it gets caught on a window ledge, and now you hate yourself.
راست میگی، برای C4 پرت کردن خیلی خوبه، جدا خوبه.
We have a lot of gadgets that are throwable, each with its own unique way of being thrown, and this gives a lot more confidence and a lot more power to the player to do the strategy that they want to do. And for those of you who don't want the system turned on, there is always an option to toggle it off as well.
میتونیم آفش هم کنیم. رپل ایمپروومنت؟ رپل هم شنیده بودم، گفته بودم تو دویدن هم میتونی رپل.
Repel is a huge system in Siege, and it's one that's very unique to us. We want to improve it and make sure that it's a lot more responsive, especially when it comes to approaching Repel and exiting Repel. Making sure it's a lot snappier, that it's more intuitive, and gives you the power to actually.
خب این سمت راستی، خب سرعت وقتی که شما یعنی الان
making sure it's a lot snappier,
that's چپی
more intuitive and gives you the power
سرعت رو ببینید، این باید چیز کنه، این باید دست رو بندازه بالا
to actually play on a wall and take an objective. And we've done some work on the mocap side as well, making sure that it feels right and also it looks right.
Last season in Operation Deep Freeze, we introduced versus AI.
همین چی شد، یعنی موقع رپل کردن شما دستتونم اگر درگیر باشه دیگه اوکی، همه چی مشکل نداره، ولی یعنی قبلا اینجوری نبود، باید دست مینداختی رپل میگرفتی، هکی میومد بیرون اینقدر درجا میکشید.
And the training playlist. This season, we're expanding these modes significantly with improved AI behaviors, additional operators, and more maps. The dev with those details is technical architect Alex Busby.
Yeah, Season 1 is a big season for the versus AI
تکنیکال آرکیتکت تا الان که من واقعا به 5 مورد لایک نشون دادم.
playlist. We're adding 5 new maps to the playlist, meaning players can play against the AI in Chalet, Cafe, Bank, Consulate, and Oregon. The versus AI playlist was introduced last season with 1 map and 5 operators for the defenders to play as. This season, we're adding 5 new maps, and the AI will be able to play as 2 new operators, Malusi and Alibi. On top of that, we're running 6 new operators that the players can play against the AI as. Players will be able to use Ash, Finker, Buck, Jackal, Lion, and Iana. Yeah, 9 Season 1 isn't just about new content. The AI will be getting
better and smarter. And more importantly, they will be less easy to bait. We've analyzed how they play against players and improved our models and our behaviors, so hopefully they will provide more of a challenge to our more experienced players. The Versus AI playlist is not the only feature that is getting a big content drop this season.
Nice.
The training playlist was introduced last season as Map Run. This season, we're introducing 4 new maps to this playlist: Skyscraper, Coastline, Border, and Nighthaven. We have big ambitions for both the Versus AI and the training playlist. Each season we'll see more content, better behaviors, more player-like AI.
دارم میگه که مشک شما میتونید با AI بازی کنید، AI ها خیلی چیزتر میشن، باهوش‌تر میشن.
And hopefully positive feedback from the community.
This season's operator balancing target is Azami, and we're also making some tweaks to LMGs.
اینم من خونسا بودم، زیاد چیزی در موردش نداشتم. بریم در مورد بالانسینگ.
Which game designer David Perpignan will tell you all about.
دیوید پرپریان.
Azami's ability to reshape the map has changed.
این پرپریانه. دیوید پرپینان. دیوید پرپینان. گفتم این باید بره خیابون به
How defense is played in Siege. She's brought new gameplay and new strategies, and that's always great, but she's bringing some frustrating situations for attackers. The first one is that Kiba barriers can be deployed from afar, and this is causing attackers to have issues destroying them. And the
اولین تغییری میخواد بدن روی گجت آزامی هست، مثل اینکه من شنیدم با تیر قرار خراب
second one
شه.
is that
چون اتاکر حتما
explosives are the
نزدیک
main way
شن.
to deal with
میبینید؟
them, and this is causing a lot of stress on attackers' operators lineup and also on the explosives economy. From now on, Kiba barriers will be vulnerable to
الان
bullets.
دیگه با
For
تیر
example, the
خراب میشه.
556
نایس.
from Thermite would require 36 bullets to destroy a Kiba barrier. The 417 DMR will require 11 bullets.
اوکی بولت چیه؟ بولت چیه؟ DMR میگه که با DMR 11 تا بولت با چیز 30 خورده ای با
And the Supernova shotgun will require only 3 shells.
سوپرنووا شاتگان 3 تا.
As always, in balancing, we will keep an eye on these changes and iterate in the future if it's required.
نایس. اولی خوب بود.
After the weapon recoil overhaul that we did on year 7, LMGs have become less and less used by the players. We want to deploy a set of changes that are based on the main attributes of LMGs. LMGs are heavy weapons capable of offering great support fire. We choose 2 main changes for this patch. The first one is that we will review every recoil on LMGs and make them easier to control. You should expect a recoil in between what we had in year 7 and what we have right now. The second change is that LMGs will make operators move 10% slower.
اوکی میگه اگه LMG بیاری با اپراتور، تغییری که روی LMG دادن اینه که 10% سرعت اپراتور رو کمتر میکنه و اینکه ریکویلشو یه چیزی کردن بین مثلا سال هفتم و سال یعنی الان که هستش.
Remember that you release a new attachment, the horizontal grip, that will help you to increase your speed by a 5%. So this can help you to counter this change. These changes should incline players to play LMGs more like a super weapon rather than an entry kill weapon.
Now it's time to meet the operator who gives Operation
اینم
Dev
تغییر خوبی بود، لایک نشون
the
میدم.
Omen its ominous name. Damos joins the attacking team armed with his vendetta and a gadget to help him track and hunt down his foes. Creative director Alexander Karpazis is here to share the insights on this operator's design. Then we'll go to director of gameplay design Jeremy Carvin and game designer Justin Larange Aluwalia for details on Damos's threatening gadget.
تا الان تمام تغییرات رو بودم، 2 تا رو فقط یعنی منفی نداشتم، 2 تا خنثی و همه رو دوست داشتم.
Damos is not a new character to the world of Siege. This is somebody that we've been working on for over a year. And we wanted to make sure that this character had teeth, that he still remained a villain even when he was captured. We wanted to give him
میگه که درسته که بعد تیم رینبو دستگیرش کرده با توجه تریلر قبلی، جزء تیم رینبو نیست، ولی شما هم میتونید باش بازی کنید و همچنان ویلان یا همون شخصیت منفی، کاراکتر منفی رینبو 6 باقی میمونه و میگه که چند بیشتر یه سال دیگه روش تمرکز میکنیم، یهو همینجوری بهش نرسیدیم.
that half cape. We wanted him to mask his identity. He's inspired by Bass Reeves, a historical character who could be a sheriff or an outlaw himself. The character went through a lot of iterations when it came to the mask. We wanted something that kept all of the players guessing who he is, and we went through a dozen of masks that fit the profile of somebody who is always thinking, who is very strategic, and who is going to challenge Rainbow.
This device idea comes from the US military, which has developed a type of nano flying drone that we always wanted to introduce into Siege. These are flying machine shaped as small helicopters.
پس میگه این ایدهشون از ارتش آمریکا گرفتن که یه جور درون پرواز، یعنی پرواز کننده است دیگه.
And they are very fast, hard to see, and they can scan and spy quickly what's going on around and detect an enemy. We wanted a device that could create a link between him and his target, and this piece of technology was the perfect element. And Defender, beware, because when you see this flyer, this is just a matter of time before Damos shows up.
One by one, every operator dies. That's the promise Damos made when he made his devastating first appearance last year, and it's a promise he intends to keep. Damos specializes in hunting down his targets with ruthless efficiency. To that end, he's bringing a collection of small probes called Deathmark trackers. These little machines will seek out their target no matter where they are on the map and relay their location to Damos and only to Damos for a period of time.
What the fuck? میگه این درونه خودش میره اتوماتیک پیدا میکنه انمی، مهم هم نیست که انمی کجا هستش، خب میره پیداش میکنه و فقط هم واسه دیموس قابل دیدن هست، یعنی هر جای مپ باشه
پیدا میکنه. It can't be said that Damos isn't the sporting sort. While Damos's death mark
عجب سوپریه داداش، این ریکول نداره.
Tracker is active, he'll reveal his own position to his prey, albeit with slightly less information. He'll also restrict himself to his custom revolver for the duration of the hunt, though as his victims soon find out, that's hardly a disadvantage. To use a death mark, Damos first needs to identify a target. He can do this by having him or his allies scan enemies or their gadgets during the prep phase or action phase. This will add them to Damos's target list.
فهمین چی شد؟ پس قبل از اینکه راند شروع شه، اگر شما بتونید هویت اپراتور رو پیدا کنید که چه اپراتوری برای تیم حریف، یعنی دستتون بازه برای پیدا کردنشون، یعنی اگر پیدا نکنید درون دیموس نمیتونه پیداشون کنه. باید بفهمید آیدنتیتیشون چیه، هویتشون چیه، دکتر مثلا یا والکری یا هر کی یگر بندیت، خود درونه میره دنبالشون، یا اگه پیدا اون فقط دنبال اونایی میره که پیداشون کردید.
Damos can cycle through targets using the alternate ability mode input. Once Damos has his target, he can use the ability button to
میتونه انتخاب کنیم، پایین رو ببینید اینجا میتونه با بی خب انتخاب کنه دنبال کدوم اپراتور بره.
toss up one of his death marks and start the hunt. Damos will start the round with 0 death marks, and then over the course of the round, he will accumulate more until he reaches his maximum of 3. The tracker will take a few seconds to find its target, during which everyone on both teams will be alerted, giving them a chance to prepare for the situation to come. Once the tracker has found its target, the hunt begins, and will continue until either the timer runs out, or Damos or the target is dead.
با توجه خب به اطلاعاتی که در مورد دیموس میگفتن که مثلا دشمن تیم رینبو هستش و خیلی خطرناکه، تک اپراتور رو داشت میکشت و هری هم کشت دیگه. این چیزی که انتخاب کردم و با توجه به سبک ابیلیتیش به نظرم چیز خفن و جذاب میاد.
Dead. That said, if Damos doesn't like the matchup, he can cancel the ability at any time using the gadget button. To help him on his hunt, Damos has 2 primary options. The first option is the AK-74M. This is a decent assault rifle with a large magazine, for when all you need is to just rain down bullets on the enemy. Alternatively, he can bring the M590A1. This is the SAS shotgun of choice, and a personal favorite of mine. This gun is great for making rotates or for a quick corner peek. The real prize, though, is the big iron on Damos's hip, the 44 Vendetta. This brand new revolver is Damos' signature weapon, and it's easy to see why.
این کلتی که جدید آوردن این ریوالوری که آوردن مخصوص خود دیموسه.
In the veteran's hands, it's a fast, accurate, and deadly machine of death. 2 shots from this gun is more than enough to kill anything that moves. And with its clean sights, high destruction, and high mobility, it'll make sure to take down anything in Damos' path. Damos comes equipped with either frag grenades or hard breach charges. Frags synergize great with his death marks, allowing him to flush out enemies in entrenched positions. On the other hand, hard breach charges allow Damos to bear down on a site once he's secured an area. Either way, Damos will make sure that no one can hide from him. Damos is a 2 health, 2 speed operator. His balanced approach is made so that he can push aggressively on the enemy without having to worry about taking a stray bullet or 2. Damos' ability can take one piece of the defender equation off the board, but he can also weaponize the intel that he provides. A coordinated team can use Damos' exposed position either as bait or as a misdirect. New players will find that Damos' kit is quite powerful and very effective at hunting down single targets and taking them out. This can be a bit risky in solo play, but if you coordinate with your team and share that intel, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. We can think of operators like Ashe, Zofia, Blitz, or Ying. They would all be perfect for that job. Damos might be able to hunt down operators, but smart defenders will also protect themselves with traps and flanks. Operators who can anticipate or disable traps, like IQ or Thatcher, and flank watch operators, like Nomad and Gridlock, are great additions to make sure that Damos doesn't have to worry about additional variables on his hunt. Death marks are small and fast, making it nearly impossible to avoid once they've found you. However, with the right tech, it is possible to hide from them or avoid them entirely. Gadgets that disable electronics, such as mutes jammers, two-browse Zoto canisters, can help mask an operator's presence, hiding them from a deathmark tracker before they find them. If you're too late and already getting tracked, these devices can still help you, though they'll only last for the duration of the disabling effect. If the disabling ends before the deathmark does, then it'll pick up right where it left off. Vigil is uniquely suited to dealing with Damos. His ability to deny intel also applies to deathmark trackers. Damos is a terrifying operator. His ability to control the flow of battle means that nobody is safe. When Damos is on the board, he's a problem, and he needs to be dealt with.
Now that you've gotten all the details from the devs, let's get some impressions from a special guest. Someone in the community who's played a lot of Siege, and recently played an early hands-on session with Operation Deadly Omen. Please welcome Jinxie.
Let's do it. This is a sick-ass gun. When he's in the right hands, he could be a 10 out of 10 operator because it's going to have that double ping effect, right? The other attackers don't have that ping. So if your communication stays good and Damos can actually call out where the roamers are, you can destroy roamers. And I can say his secondary was one of the most fun guns ever. Like I could make so many line of sights through like 3-4 walls, like Ace baby, ace! Oh yeah, this op's insane. This op's insane. Key to Damos and what he promotes more than anything is communication and call-outs. It's gonna teach players to actually roam with discipline because like recently the ranked meta, not Pro League, but the ranked meta is just everyone running around. So that operator would actually shift the meta. When I found out Ashe R4C ACOG was coming back, I almost shit my pants. And then like they've even brought back Buck ACOG and all the other iconic ACOGs. Castle has an ACOG. So I think next is Jaeger. Damos is so good. I'm out.
You could play the season test server for Operation Deadly Omen starting next week. Take the new shields for a spin. Experiment with new attachment upgrades and see how devious Damos really is. Remember, whether you're in the test server or just playing as usual, please report issues you encounter to R6Fix for a chance to earn some rewards. We're also hyped for the live reveal of Year 9 of Rainbow Six Siege tomorrow at the finals. Then.
ادیتینگ معرفی کرد. خب رفقا مرسی که دیدید. واقعا تغییرات خفنی بود جز تیکه آخرش که کلا سیکتیرشو بزنیم. واقعا راضی بودم. یعنی از 10 بخوام نمره بدم به این تغییرات، من 9 نمره میدم به این تغییرات. واقعا خیلی خفن بود، خیلی دلنشین بود، چون داره برمیگرده به سمت ریشاش و این خیلی خوبه و تغییرات هم تغییرات مثبتیه. امیدوارم که لذت برده باشید از ویدیو. حتما چنل سابسکرایب بکنید. فردا شب احتمالاً ویدیو سال نهم، تقریبا سال نهم داشته باشیم، چه اپراتوری قرار اضافه شه، چه مپای قرار اضافه شه و داستانی دیگه که توی سال نهم قرار داشته باشیم. مرسی که دیدید، پرچمتون بالاست. سابسکرایب بکنید، لایک کنید، کامنت بذارید. بوس به همتون. خدا نگهدارتون.